Have you ever lost something and felt like life was against you? A job, a relationship, a plan, gone. In the moment, it feels like bad luck, like punishment, like unfairness. But what if that bad luck is actually God clearing the way for something better? In this video, I'll show you 5 clear ways God turns your worst moments into blessings. No theology lecture, no mystery, just simple truths, real stories, practical steps. What you'll get: 5 short truths, each with a quick real story and one thing you can do tomorrow. You'll learn how a lost job can make room, how delays can protect you, how rejection can redirect you, how failure teaches you, and how loss creates space to receive. If this sounds like what you need, type "blessed" in the comments now. Stay with me. At the end, I'll give you a short 7-day challenge that changes how you see setbacks. It actually works. Ready? Let's start with the first one. When you lose a job, God may be making room. Section 1. When you lose a job, He's making room. Losing a job hits like a punch. It's sudden. It's personal. In the moment, it feels like the end. But a closed door isn't always a dead end. Sometimes it's space being cleared. God removes what's comfortable to make room for what's better. Let me tell you about Sarah. She worked at the same company for 5 years. She knew the routine. Then one morning, HR called layoffs. She walked out with a box and a knot in her stomach. For weeks, she sent resumes, took interviews, and heard nothing. She started to panic. Bills? What now? One afternoon, she helped a neighbor paint. That neighbor introduced her to a small nonprofit. They needed someone with her exact skills. The job gave her more purpose, and yes, better pay. Sarah looks back and says losing that job opened the door she needed. Here's the simple truth. Losing a job can remove the obstacle blocking a better fit. God sometimes clears space before He gives the gift. So what can you do this week? Practical, small, real? Do these 3 things. First, define 2 things you want in your next role. Write them down. Be specific. Not better job. Try more flexible hours, or work that feels meaningful. When you name it, you notice it. Second, reach out to one contact. Ask for advice, not a job. One honest call, or one short email. People help when we ask for perspective. That one conversation often points to the next door. Third, spend 20 minutes a day learning one skill that matters for where you want to go. Read a short article, take a quick lesson, practice a tool. Small daily habits add up faster than big, sporadic pushes. These steps aren't magic. They are simple moves that open doors. While you do them, trust that God is clearing space, even if you can't see the new door yet. If you lost a job and it later led to something better, type "room" in the comments. One word. I'll pin a few stories. Section 2. When you're delayed, He's protecting or perfecting you. Waiting hurts. We call it delay. We call it getting nowhere. It feels like a stop sign on your life. But delay isn't always denial. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's preparation. God's timing can keep you out of harm's way, or give you what you need before the next step. Here's Jake's story. He was set to move across the country. House sold, movers booked. Everything was on a tight schedule. 3 days before the move, the buyer backed out. Jake was crushed. He felt robbed of progress. Months later, he learned the buyer's inspection had found a major foundation problem. If the sale had closed, Jake would have moved into a dangerous, costly situation. The delay saved him from a big disaster. Think about that. What looks like a setback can be God protecting you from a problem you couldn't see yet. So how do you act while you wait? Do these 3 things. First, reframe the wait. Write one sentence. This delay might be protecting me from, don't guess, wildly. List realistic risks. Financial strain, rushed decisions, wrong timing. Naming a possible protection eases fear and opens your eyes to lessons. Second, build one small routine that prepares you. It can be saving $20 a week, learning one tool, or practicing calm for 10 minutes a day. Use the wait to get ready. Preparation turns waiting into progress. Third, pray an honest one-line prayer each morning. God, show me what you're doing in this pause. Short, honest. Then watch for small answers. A call, a new idea, a closed door that feels like mercy. These are not quick fixes. They change your posture. Instead of panicking, you become watchful and ready. Delay loses its power when you use it. If a delay later turned out to be the best thing that happened to you, comment protected. I'll read a few. Next, rejection. Why being turned away can point you to the right path. Section 3. When you're rejected, he's redirecting you. Rejection stings. It shuts a door and leaves you asking, why me? But rejection doesn't always say, no forever. Often it says, not this way. God can close one path to send you to a better one. Listen to Maria. She applied for a scholarship to her dream grad program and got rejected. She was crushed. She imagined only one future, that school. Instead, she took a teaching job at a small school to keep working and learning. There, she met mentors who pushed her to write a curriculum. That curriculum later became a best-selling workbook. Her rejection redirected her toward the work she was actually meant to do. Here's the truth. Rejection can be a redirection toward your stronger fit. Do these 3 practical things when rejection hits. First, feel it, then set a short deadline. Give yourself one night or one weekend to grieve. After that, set a 7-day reset. One small action per day to move forward. Grief is natural. Stagnation is optional. Second, ask 2 questions. What can I learn? And where could this lead? Write 1-sentence answers. Learning keeps you moving. Curiosity opens doors you didn't see. Third, try one small pivot. Volunteer, accept a short-term role, or take a free mini course related to a new angle. Little pivots create new networks and new opportunities. These actions turn raw pain into useful steps. They don't minimize the hurt, they repurpose it. If a rejection later led to something better for you, type redirected. I'll read a few stories. Next, failure. Why failing now might be training you for a promotion later. Section 4. When you fail, he's training you for more. Failure. It's one of the hardest things to face. You tried. You gave it everything. And it still didn't work. You start asking, did I hear God wrong? Did I waste my time? But here's the truth. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the classroom that prepares you for it. God uses failure to train your character, sharpen your focus, and build the strength you'll need when the next door opens. Let's look at David's story. David dreamed of starting his own small business. He saved for years, launched, and within 12 months it collapsed. He felt humiliated. He questioned his worth. But instead of quitting, he decided to treat it as a lesson. He listed every mistake he made, from weak marketing to poor budgeting, and started over, smaller this time, wiser. 3 years later, he runs a thriving company that helps other entrepreneurs avoid the same pitfalls. Failure didn't end him, it trained him. Here's what you can do when failure hits. First, write down 3 things this failure taught you. Be brutally honest. Then underline one lesson you can apply right now. That's your training note. Second, share that lesson with one person. A friend, a mentor, someone who'll keep you accountable. Speaking it out loud locks it in. Third, take one micro action in the next 48 hours to apply it. Maybe fix one system, reread feedback, or try again on a smaller scale. The point is movement, not perfection. These steps flip failure into forward motion, The pain doesn't disappear, it transforms into wisdom. God doesn't waste pain, He recycles it into preparation. If you've ever failed and later realized it trained you for something better, share your story in the comments. I'd truly love to read it. Next, loss. How losing something precious can expand your heart and make space for new blessings. Section 5. When you lose something, God is making room. Loss. It's one of those moments when life goes silent. The friendship that faded. The job that ended. The prayer that didn't get answered. It hurts because something that once felt permanent is suddenly gone. But sometimes, the loss you fear most is the one God uses to free you. To make room for something better. Something that fits the person you're becoming. Let's look at Rachel's story. Rachel worked in a company she loved for 7 years. Then one morning, she was let go. No warning, no plan B. For weeks, she wrestled with anger and shame. But instead of staying stuck, she started journaling every day. What if this loss is not rejection, but redirection? That simple question changed everything. She took a month to rest, pray, and realign. Within 3 months, she found a new job that not only paid better, but aligned perfectly with her values. Now she says, losing that job didn't break me. It broke the limits I'd put on myself. That's what God does. He doesn't remove to punish. He removes to prepare. Here are 3 truths to hold when you face loss. 1. Let yourself grieve, but don't camp there. Tears aren't weakness. They're release. Cry, but then stand up. 2. Ask, what space has this loss created? Sometimes God clears your path so He can place something sacred in it. 3. Keep walking, even slowly. Healing isn't about speed, it's about direction. Keep moving toward hope. Every loss God allows carries a hidden gift, clarity. You begin to see what truly matters and what never did. And when you look back months or years later, you realize it wasn't the end. It was a sacred beginning. If you've ever lost something that led to something greater, comment below. Your story might give hope to someone who's there right now. Next, the emotional payoff. How all these unseen moments weave together into one powerful truth about God's timing and love. Section 6. God's timing is never late. Let's pause for a second. Think about everything we've just walked through together. The delays, the closed doors, the detours, the waiting, the losses. Different moments, same truth. God was never absent. He was building something inside you while preparing something around you. Every unanswered prayer, every disappointment, every why God was not wasted. It was shaping you into someone who could carry what's next. You see, sometimes we pray for blessings, but God loves us too much to give them too soon. He wants you to have more than success. He wants you to have strength. He wants you to have more than luck. He wants you to have lasting peace. That's why His timing is different, because He's not just preparing your future. He's preparing you for your future. So if life feels unclear right now, remember this. God doesn't just see your story. He's writing it. And one day, when you look back, you'll see how every step, even the painful ones, led you right where you were meant to be. You're not unlucky. You're being guided. And every not yet you've faced might just be the beginning of your greatest yes. If this message touched you, take a second to share it with someone who's waiting on God too. You never know who might need this reminder today. And if you want more videos like this, full of faith, hope, and real stories, subscribe and stay close.